Excellent. Connor, would you like to? Perfect. Just go ahead and press that. And cool, excellent. Thank you. I just wanted to say hey to everyone who was able to come today. Welcome, welcome, and it's so good to see you all here with us. For those who don't know me, I'm Adelia Hanley, People Experience Manager at Sekuro, and I have a background working with grads and interns and all things people experience. People experience is also known as, in many organisations, people and culture. And we also have with us today the awesome Mia Simons.
Good afternoon, everybody.
And Conrad Burns-Crickle.
Hey, everyone.
Great. Can you all hear us okay? You're all on mute, I'm sure. Could someone give us a thumbs up in the chat?
Yeah, we can hear you, Adelia.
Okay, lovely, awesome, great. So Mia and Conrad are both associate analysts in our governance, compliance and risk team here, and they will be sharing the stories with you very soon. But firstly, I'd like to thank you all for joining us again. We're just so appreciative that you're here. Just a few AV things to go through to start with. You may have noticed that we've set all of you to mute. However, if you have any questions along the way, you're welcome to go ahead and pop them into the chat box and we'll make sure to answer all of those at the end. We'll also be recording today's session as you've noticed, so if you want to keep your cameras off, that's absolutely fine. If you want to turn them on as well, we're okay with that too. Choose what you like. Just to begin with, we'll do a quick welcome to country. So I'd like to begin today by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land and pay my respects to elders past and present. And I'd like to extend that respect to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people here with us today. So, Sekuro, who are we and what do we do? And that's a really good question. Sekuro is a complete cybersecurity and digital resilience provider. Australia's leading enterprise and government organisations select Sekuro to embed resiliency into their digital transformation strategy. How? We operate with 3 centres of excellence: cyber GRC, technology platforms, and offensive security. Our cyber GRC team works with organisations such as Canva, Service New South Wales, and Equifax to deliver governance, risk and compliance in ISO standards and a broad range of cyber maturity services. The technology platform team delivers SOC, Security Operations Centre solutions, managed security services, and implements, architects, and optimizes next generation security and cloud technologies aligned to Zero Trust, a security strategy and framework. We are a heavily certified and referenceable partner of CrowdStrike, Okta, Zscaler, Netscope, and Mimecast, just to name a few. ASX, JB Hi-Fi, and New South Wales Police choose us to deliver the mission critical projects in this space. The third centre of excellence, last but not least, is offensive security. This team of world-class offensive security experts work with major organisations such as Suncorp and Macquarie Bank and a list of major government enterprises. They do red teaming, pen testing, ransomware readiness assessments, and cloud security reviews. Customers typically choose us to deliver a managed turnkey solution or ongoing co-managed optimization services. Where required, we can provide one-off tactical projects too. Our mission is to become the most trusted cybersecurity and digital resilience partner in the Asia Pacific region. And now it's time for me to hand the reins over to Conrad. Take it away, Conrad.
Thanks, Adelia. Hi, everyone. It's good to see you all here today. My name is Conrad, and it's a pleasure to speak here today. For some background on myself, I studied a Bachelor of Security Studies at Macquarie University, and I finished my studies last year. As I became fascinated by security, my interests were quite broad, as some of you might have broad interests yourselves. I primarily focused on intelligence, disaster recovery, incident management, cybersecurity, and counterterrorism. With such broad interests, I knew I wanted to pursue something related to security, but found it difficult to pinpoint a career path in my final year. My interest in international relations also made me consider pursuing the diplomatic services, being an analyst at an intelligence agency, or joining the police force or military. So that's why when I first received an email about a mentorship opportunity in governance, risk and compliance, it really piqued my interest. Reading about GRC gave me a sense of direction and encompassed many of my interests alongside the opportunity to learn from security specialists. I felt like it was an opportunity too good to miss. But before we go into details about Sekuro and its programs, I'll cover some advice that I would have found helpful in my final year of uni. So yep, next slide. So some tips and advice. With this section, I wanted to focus on the work completed by a security consultant, but also on the journey to entering the workforce and how I decided to work at Sekuro. I feel like the uni student story is more relatable and understandable than if we just sat here and talked about cybersecurity frameworks for 10 minutes straight. So firstly, regardless of what it is, like finding work, trying a new sport, or volunteering for charity, say yes to as many opportunities as you can and be open-minded to trying new things. In my first few years of uni, I wasn't as involved as I could have been, so make the most of your time. And I know this has been vastly complicated by COVID and remote learning, but like the virtual mentorship that Mia and I did last year, there's plenty of opportunities out there, so don't stop looking. Secondly, try to work somewhere that is enjoyable but challenging. The world of IT and cybersecurity is so vast and quick to change. Don't put yourself in a box by working somewhere that you don't want to. Like how I found an interest in cybersecurity through GRC, which combines sound technical knowledge with a passion for helping people and talking to people, you should find a job in security based on what you guys enjoy. And thirdly, your uni marks might not matter as much as you think. Obviously, you should strive for the highest grades you can, as I did, but there is a lot of value in talking to and communicating with people in the relevant field that you wish to pursue. This is the approach that I took in the mentorship. I would ask as many questions as I could in each session. I would inquire about the mentor's experiences and life, follow up when it felt necessary via email and LinkedIn, and most importantly, ask for help if I didn't understand a concept. Quite often, people are more willing to help than we first realize. So even though it would be great for any keen uni students to follow me and myself by working here at Sekuro, I'd rather you all follow your own passions and interests and work where you're the most comfortable. Remember, it's always good to take calculated risks and say yes to opportunities. And wherever these calculated risks take you, good luck. Don't forget to have some fun along the way. And now over to Mia for her introduction.
Thank you, Conrad. Hello, everyone. My name is Mia. I was a Macquarie University student for 4 years, and I studied a Bachelor of Business Analytics with a Bachelor of Security Studies. I'm now in a graduate position as an associate analyst at Sekuro and have been for 3 months. Even though both of my degrees aren't strictly cyber related, I always knew that cybersecurity was an industry that I wanted to get into. This was due to several factors, including the industry's tremendous growth rate, as well as my passion for technology and problem solving. However, before I start discussing my role at Sekuro and how I ended up there, first I think it's important for you to hear my story of how I decided that I wanted to work in the cybersecurity industry. As a child, I had my heart completely set on being an author. However, when I was in year 10 in high school, my parents sat me down and said to me, "Mia, we know that you love writing and that you've always wanted to be an author, but it is extremely difficult to be successful in this career. We believe that you should choose another path and then write in your spare time." At first, I was really upset that they weren't going to support me in my goal, a goal that I had had since I was 7 years old. But then I realized that they might be right. After having a discussion with my dad, who has worked in IT for 25 years, in year 11, I decided to study software design and development and information processes and technology. After having no experience in either of these subjects, I graduated year 12 as first in my class for one and second in my class for the other. This was a huge accomplishment for me, especially as I was the only girl in one class and one of 2 girls in the other class. And it made me realize that not only was I good at IT, but I also really enjoyed it. This, alongside knowing that cybersecurity was a growing field, led to me selecting to study business analytics and security studies at university. Next slide, please. My point in telling you this story is that it's okay to not know where you want to end up. If you would ask 7-year-old me whether I wanted to work in IT, I would have outright said no. So my advice for all of you who are wondering what to do post-university is to take the time to work out the path that's right for you. But just know that cybersecurity is an amazing industry. There are lots of positions available, there's always more to learn, and because of constant advancements and changes, the work never gets boring. I know that the security studies degree at Macquarie University is extremely broad, and it may seem as if cybersecurity is a field that you need to specifically specialize in, but my studies have provided me with enough knowledge that I have been able to enter an area of cybersecurity known as governance, risk, and compliance, or GRC for short. You never know where you'll wind up, and it's important to make sure that you choose a career that you love as much as I love mine. This leads me to my next point of how I ended up working for Sekuro. I'm not sure how many of you check your emails, but the university frequently sends out communications with information on organizations looking for university students to apply to their internship and mentorship positions. Last year, in my inbox, I saw an announcement for a mentorship program with Sekuro. Thinking I had nothing to lose and knowing that if I made it through the interview process, I would have a competitive edge over other graduates looking for work in the cybersecurity industry, I decided to apply. After successfully making it through the application process, I spent 12 amazing weeks learning from people who are now my colleagues at Sekuro and who I continue to learn from daily. Next slide, please. While I always knew that I wanted to work in cybersecurity post-university, I wasn't exactly sure how to get into the industry itself. This is where the Sekuro mentorship program proved to be extremely beneficial. The program had two streams: governance, risk, and compliance, or GRC, and RED, also known as offensive security. As someone who is passionate about cybersecurity, the GRC stream of this program allowed me to become familiar with governance, strategies, risk management, risk assessment, and compliance, and provided me with a unique experience tailored towards my goals of working within the cybersecurity industry. Additionally, it allowed me to gain a working knowledge of major industry standard frameworks, learn how customers become compliant with industry regulation, compliance, and cybersecurity laws, as well as translate classroom experience into a practical application. As a mentee of the mentorship program, I collaborated with a Sekuro mentor to create a minor and major project focused on cybersecurity and GRC. Throughout the program, I was also guided in developing a tailored career plan to help me succeed in the cybersecurity industry post-university. I also had the opportunity to attend the FLIP conference, which was hosted by the Law Society of New South Wales and allowed for me to network with industry professionals. Mentorships and internships are excellent options for students to determine whether they enjoy the field and wish to pursue a career in it after graduation. For me personally, being a part of this program really solidified my desire to work in the cybersecurity industry. I'll now pass on to Conrad, who will give you some insight into the life of an associate analyst.
Thanks, Mia. So, in this section, we'll be talking about the day in the life of an associate analyst. Our graduate program started at the end of February, and in about 3 months, I feel like I've learned an entire uni semester's worth of information. But don't let that put you off. It's a lot of information at once, but the support that we have helps us process everything. So that sort of introduction might sound a bit threatening, but trust me, it's fine. And we're still only in the first quarter of this experience, but we've had the opportunity to shadow talented professionals, work on client engagements through implementation meetings and internal audits, and develop the report writing and speaking skills necessary for a career in cybersecurity. Some of the frameworks an associate analyst works with are ISO 27001, the National Institute of Standards and Technology Framework, or NIST, the Center for Internet Security Implementation Groups, or CIS, and the Information Security Registers Assessors Program, or IRAP. And also, don't worry if these sound a bit confusing. No uni student is expected to know what these are yet or how they work, but that's what the mentorship is there to help you with. And if you have a knack for adapting to the quickly changing technologies that surround us in our daily lives, such as cloud and zero trust, which many of these frameworks base their content off of, then you'll be perfect for a job as an associate analyst. And if you aren't on the particularly techie side either, that's fine too. My background of just a security studies degree isn't particularly technical, and I love the job. Saying that, there is a long way to go, and I can feel slightly out of my depth at times, but I think that's only natural with your first job out of university. That's something else I'd like to reiterate. It's perfectly fine to feel overwhelmed at university or at work. It's inevitable, but with the right support and correct guidance, it's easy to get back on track. That's why mentorship experience and a graduate program like the one at Sekuro are so good. Instead of being thrown into a job you're not ready for, these experiences gradually prepare you for a career in cybersecurity. Speaking of which, here are some of the highlights Mia and I have experienced whilst working here in our first couple of months. So onto the highlights perks slide. Thank you. So first is community and vibe events. Some of you might have heard us talking briefly about these before it actually started, for anyone that was here slightly earlier. These are a great opportunity to meet other people in the company, especially with work from home limiting social contact in the office. These events really help us connect with other people in the company, even if we're working remotely, working from home. It's a really, really good opportunity. Some of the things we've had so far include company lunches, paint and sip, and virtual escape rooms and trivia. Next is the swag. So this includes backpacks, hoodies, shirts, socks, and all kinds of cool office supplies that we got during our onboarding process, like a laptop and a headset. Third is Party on Us. This is a weekly chance to spend time with your co-workers and have the company chip in for it. It's a really, really good chance to socialize and to talk to your co-workers about things other than just work. And fourthly is the smooth onboarding process. For me, this was probably the best part so far out of all the highlights, simply because coming from a university context and a part-time job during uni that had nothing to do with IT, it was a bit interesting adapting to office life, but the onboarding process really allowed me to do so. It involved lots of things like fun lunches, meeting members of different departments and getting accustomed to office, setting up our laptops, learning about the applications that Sekuro uses and what we provide for our clients. Adeli's approach during the onboarding made us feel comfortable and help us adapt. Now over to Mia for the final few highlights.
So some other highlights and perks of being an associate analyst for Sekuro include the great mentors. As part of the graduate program, you get paired with a mentor who has a vast level of industry experience. You shadow your mentor in client meetings and learn from them on a daily basis. This leads me to my next point, as shadowing these client meetings allows for you to not only learn from your mentor, but also provides you with the chance to learn from the clients you work with who are industry experts. Another aspect of the graduate program is funded certifications. Conrad and I are currently studying to take the CompTIA Security Plus certification exam, a certification which establishes the core knowledge required of any cybersecurity role, and which is fully funded by the company, including the cost of the exam, as well as study materials. And finally, part of the Sekuro work culture is its hybrid working flexibility. Sekuro provides their employees with the option to work from home or in the office. Working from home is great flexibility, but it's also nice to be able to socialize in the office. Having the option to do either is great. I'll now pass on to Adeli to finish off the presentation.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Conrad and Mia. I really liked hearing that from both of you, your stories, your journey of how you got to where you are today, and how you made some of those decisions along the way. Because let's face it, they must have been, the easiest decisions to make. What am I going to do next? How do I, go and choose the job that I want to do? So I think, sharing that information in itself hopefully will have been very valuable to some of our attendees here today, if not all of them. And yeah, it was really great to hear that. One common theme I did hear from both of you, though, that I just want to echo, and I think that's so important when you're discovering what you want to do with your life. And you don't have to decide what you want to do with your entire life when you're choosing that next step. I think it's important to, look at what that next step looks like, because let's face it, you're going to change jobs throughout your career. But it's a really good way to look at a stepping stone, is really looking at things with a can-do attitude and saying yes to opportunity and just giving things a go. If you align, mostly what you love to do or have some interest in, and just explore that a little bit, you'll see what opens up, and it's a world out there. And with cybersecurity just starting to blossom, the career opportunities are just going to boom over the next 5 years. So it's a really exciting space to be in. I'd just like to as well mention that we are contactable on LinkedIn. I've popped our details on the screen there for you. We'd love to reach out or for you to reach out and say hi and have a chat to us. You can ask us questions there as well, and just connect. You can take a photo of that if you like, and contact us later. Also, you're welcome to go ahead and check out our jobs that are available on the careers page. Our web address is also on that page there as well. Cool. And now we're going to open up for questions. The fun part. Cool, excellent. I can't actually see what's in the chat box at the moment, but maybe Connor, is there any questions in there?
We don't have any questions yet. We might have some people sending them. We got a hand up. You can
go ahead. And you can it from any of us, Conrad, myself, Mia, far away.
Hi guys, can you guys see me? I think something's wrong with my camera. That's all right. That's all right.
That's okay.
So yeah, it was a great presentation, guys. So my question goes to both Mia and Conrad. So I have this question because I've been studying, information system management with cybersecurity, so information security management as well. So for those who seek, for the freshers who seek career aspirations in that field, what sort of advice can you guys give to face the interview? So do you have to be like too technically prepared for the interview, or how does it go?
I can speak on that, particularly because at least doing just a Bachelor of Security Studies at Macquarie, the subjects on cybersecurity didn't get very technical at all. It was mostly theory, and the most technical it got was just talking about like different types of malicious attacks and stuff, not really how they even work. So for me at least, getting into GRC, it's more about your ability to analyze things and learn on the fly than actually know the technicals of what you're talking about. At least that's my experience. It definitely is very, very helpful to understand fully what you're talking about. But in governance, risk, and compliance, for example, if you're helping a client implement an information security management system, it's more about the overall cybersecurity, like best practice, than very specific technical things. And for the interview, I kind of was honest about that. Like for Sekuro, I was honest about what I did and what I didn't know technically. And I think that's just the best thing, is like, be honest. You don't need to be an expert in everything. It just needs to be specific for the job you're applying for. So I knew that as an associate analyst in governance, risk, and compliance, I didn't need a very, very advanced level of technical knowledge. And because of that, that's also part of the reason why they fund our CompTIA study, so we can catch up on a bit of that stuff if we did a degree that wasn't particularly technical. So that might have been a kind of long-winded way to say it depends on the job and depends on who you are and what you've studied. But I'd probably say just be very honest with yourself and don't try to make things up in the interview or prepare for an interview you're not ready for. Like, just be very honest about what you know and what you don't know.
Yeah, that's very insightful, Conrad. Thank you very much.
It's all good.
We've got one question in the chat from Joseph, asking, when are the mentorships released?
Good question. We're just working through that at the moment. It will be in the second half of the year, so you're welcome to go ahead and apply now. And we'll be working around the university timetables to make sure that it's right for you, giving you plenty of notice. However, yeah, if you want to reach out to me, I'm happy to keep you in the loop of that as well. Not a problem. Last year it ran in September and went through to December. And this year we're reviewing whether we start that a little bit earlier or not. So yeah, watch this space. But yeah, it will be coming out soon. Excellent. We've got another raised hand there. Is it Josh?
Yes. Hi, my name is Josh. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah. Hi, Josh. Nice to meet you.
So I'm currently studying at Macquarie Bachelor. It's my last, and I wanted to ask, like, any specific certifications that you might for to apply a job at Sekuro?
It was cutting in and out a bit. Did you ask if there's specific certifications that might help you prepare or get into a job here?
It's like CI, SSP.
Josh, it's just breaking up a little bit. Would you mind popping your question into the chat box? Any luck? I should open up my screen and see if I can see that chat box.
I'm pretty sure he was asking if you need any specific certifications to apply, like CISP, which
Okay.
no, you don't. Certifications like that are actually funded by the company. So as long as you've got the background knowledge and everything, once you apply, if you want to do a certain certification, you just run it by the company and they'll give you time to study. They'll help you prepare and you can take the certification, but you don't need them prior to applying.
Great, awesome. Thanks, Mia. And I hope that answers your question, Josh. If not, feel free to just pop it in the box and we'll take a look. Excellent. Is there any other questions there?
I got another question.
Yeah.
I recently got graduated from Macquarie University. So in order to apply for the mentorship program, do you have to be a current student at Macquarie? Or is it all right if you already been graduated? And I'm an international student as well, so I just have to check the ability to get into the program.
Yeah, no, that's fine. You're welcome to go ahead and apply. The graduate program is really designed for anyone who is, transitioning into this space as a professional undergraduate. So, yeah, absolutely, you're welcome to apply.
All right, thank you, Adi.
No problems. Excellent. How are we going? Any other questions there?
We got another question from the chat asking, is this a job? Do you get paid or is it strictly an experience to gain confidence and experience within the field?
Good question. So the mentorship last time was run as a mentorship and it was for experience purposes. You get a real lot of knowledge in this mentorship program. So it does add, tremendous value to your portfolio and your future in the field. You get experts, like mentioned in the talk, who spend their time with you, educating and teaching you, and you get to do a little bit of a project and a few other things as well. So it is more of a traineeship, and then from there we take a look at who we might want to take on the next step of the journey with us. I hope that answers your question. Cool. And was there any other corner in the chat box that you can see?
That's it for now.
Okay. All right. Excellent. Well, all right. Well, thank you so much to everyone for coming today. It was an absolute pleasure to be here and to talk to each and every one of you. We really enjoyed it. And look, I really hope that we do see each other again, whether it's on LinkedIn or, at another event. Hopefully our paths will cross in the future. But yeah, please do reach out. We'd love to have a chat to you. And thank you so much for your time today.
Yeah, we got one more quick question.
Okay.
Just asking if the mentorship program is full-time or part-time.
It's not even part-time, it's more casual. How much time was it, Mia, last time?
We were doing one session a week for about an hour, but then you could book in additional sessions with your mentor if you wanted to talk to them about things.
Cool. Excellent. All right, I think that wraps it up. Yeah, if you have any more questions, feel free to reach out. We'll answer those for you. Stay in touch and yeah, have a great afternoon. Thank you for coming.
We got another question. If you want to stay back for that. They're just trickling in.
Bring me in. I feel awkward cutting people off now. I should be longer before I, end the session. Sorry. Yeah, fire away. Go
so
for
we got
it.
Daniel asking, you mentioned that there's no needs for certifications prior to the mentor program, but he asks if there's any specific skills that would be beneficial to have.
I'd probably say Google and AWS have really basic good courses on IT. If you're like me and you want to catch up on some of the technical stuff that the university degree doesn't really touch on, those are really helpful. And once you do successfully make it through things like the mentorship and maybe get offered a job or something at Sekuro, they do, as we've mentioned, pay for a lot of other certifications. So in terms of things prior to the mentorship program, it's kind of up to you. Like if you feel like you're like me and your technical knowledge is lacking a bit because the university degree is mainly theory based, you might just have to do some extracurricular stuff like Google and AWS courses. Stuff like that, I think, is really helpful. So yeah, it kind of depends on what you think your strengths and weaknesses are. Because GRC is so, it's like, you could specialize in law and end up getting into GRC. You just need to wrap your head around the technical stuff a bit later on. You can be like me and have very, very broad interests and get into it. Even like Mia's background in business analytics probably comes in really, really helpful, especially with how analysis-based the job is. So it kind of depends on your strengths and weaknesses, which can be difficult to figure out. I definitely had to kind of make like a big reflection document of what I think I'm good and bad at to try and hone in on what I should study on. So yeah, hope that answers it at all.
Yeah, some other skills that are good are report writing. There's lots of report writing in GRC. Even in offensive security, you still have to write reports. So writing skills are really helpful. And also because Sekuro is a consulting company, working on your confidence and public speaking is probably good as well, because you're meeting clients like all the time, you're talking to them. So yeah, those are some really good skills as well.
Great answers. All right, I might just pause in case we get one more come through, but I think this will be the final one. No takers? Okay. All right. All right, guys, thank you for coming. Yeah, it's been a great time, and we've really enjoyed our time with you. And yeah, you know where we are if you'd like to reach out and have a chat. All right, thanks Conrad and Mia for your wonderful talks. And thank you for the great questions that came through as well. Yeah, we're just going to sign off from here. Have a great afternoon, everyone.
Yep. Thank you guys for coming. I'm glad. I'm assuming everyone had a great time, and it's been very insightful. Thanks for coming and having the chat with us.
Not a problem.
Thank you
No
guys.
worries. Thanks for having us.
See ya.